Okay, hi Christy. I'll wait a few minutes. I'm sorry. There were other people that were on the other feed and I had to disconnect it, so I'm sorry about that. I wasn't trying to be rude and abandon you. It just was not coming through. Okay, awesome. Thanks, Lori. I hope everyone had a nice dinner. We had amazing chili from Costco, and it's in like the prepared food section, you know, like with their soup and other stuff, and it is so good. It's a very meaty chili, but it's so good. So we had that in the crock pot all day, and we had that for dinner. And I like to put Fritos in my chili, just gives it that extra crunch, you know, extra kick that I feel like crackers just don't provide. Okay, we got a couple people on here. I'm gonna wait just another minute. If you can, go ahead and get your card kit ready to go. You do have some instructions printed in there. And you should also have this assortment of Doodlebug cards that we're gonna open in just a minute. The other thing I grabbed was the bag of ribbon, because I feel like a lot of these cards you could add ribbon to, and when I was designing, I didn't have the ribbon. My amazing helper Gail had taken all of this home to cut for me. It's little things like that that make such a huge difference as a business owner and a person running the retreat, like having people who are willing to say, I can do that for you. I can sit and watch TV and cut that. And so she was a lifesaver. So you have all these really pretty ribbons that will coordinate with your card kits, and we can use some of them today. So if you don't have that handy, you could grab it really quick. Just a reminder, it was in this box, the Retreat Essentials box, and you should have a bag of ribbon. Okay? I'm gonna leave it kind of up here. Okay. So when I saw this collection way back last April maybe, immediately I wanted to use it for this event. You have half a paper pad. It has this great gold mixed in. It's got a lot of pretty colors. You are going to have a lot of extras, especially with the pieces. I wanted you to have both set of die cuts because I feel like the frames and the tags are important for designing cards, and then this is all the just little cute add-ons. So similar to this morning or yesterday, sorting the pieces becomes a big part of it. You will have a ton of extra ephemera. I purposefully chose all of the sentiments that said celebrate. I didn't go, you could go through this, there you can see right here, there's thanks, there are, I don't even know, there's just a ton. You will have plenty to make a whole nother set of cards. But for this class, I wanted to focus on celebrate, with the exception of this one right here, which I circle punched the word woohoo, because I thought that's pretty close to celebrate. So I reached out to Doodlebug and kind of showed Allison the colors I would be using, and we ended up deciding on the Pretty Kitty assortment. And I like using these card packs, especially if I'm going to a crop or just to sit down, you know, for an hour to craft, because you have a variety of sizes, the colorful envelopes. Yes, 3 of these cards are white, but now that they're covered up, you can't tell. And it just kind of, I don't know, I guess it makes you design or create in more of a variety. And for a class, it's perfect because we have all these different sizes. So we are going to open this up. The first card we're going to make today is this yellow card that says celebrate with all of the cute smiley faces. I'm gonna go ahead and get in here. And I'm gonna grab my card, and then I'm just gonna tuck the envelope to the back as we work our way through and set this aside. And then I will move our other samples out of the way so that we can go card by card. Okay, so to start out with, you've got your instructions if you want to follow along, but we're gonna need this smiley face paper. You're also, for this one, going to need your corner rounder and then a tiny attacher or stapler if you have one. I ended up adding the staple on our banner here, and then I added the staple here. And part of the reason for that is because these are the see-through vellum pieces, and rather than hide adhesive, I decided to go with my stapler, okay? So, I'm gonna use a lot of extra tools on this card and then not so much for the other cards. All right, in my paper pad, I'm gonna kind of, oh, actually this one you don't really have to break as much because it's got this nice perforated line. So I will fold it. Let me find the smileys. Okay, and then we're also going to need the stripe. Make sure I didn't miss it. There. I told you, you have to have a good stripe for any collection, any layouts or cards that you do. This is a really pretty stripe. Okay, and then I also need the one that is a grid. So it's the blue with kind of that creamy background. And I'll just fold it back and forth. Looks like a few more people have joined us. Welcome. Okay, and then I'm just gonna set this aside for right now. And I'm gonna grab my trimmer because we need to cut the pieces. And then on these, we're going to have to be very mindful of our patterns because if we want our card to be up and down, we want to make sure our smiley faces are going the right way. We want to make sure the stripes are going the right way. Okay. So first we're going to cut the smiley and we're going to cut it to 3 3/8 across and 4 5/8 up and down. I'm going to turn it and do the vertical number first. So 4 5/8 is just past the 1/2 inch mark on there, 4 1/2. I'll set this aside. And then I'm gonna turn it and do the 3 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, so then I have my base of my card right there. I'm going to cut the striped strip across, and I want it to be 3/4 of an inch by 3 1/2. So I'll do the 3/4 first. And then the 3 1/2. So this ends up being kind of the belt for our card right here. And all of these measurements you can see right on the instruction sheet. My striped piece, I don't have it here yet, but my striped piece does extend over a little bit on either side of the smiley, and that's how I designed it. So it's got a little bit of extra. Okay. Then our last piece that we have to cut is the grid. And the grid is actually what's behind this vellum frame. So this one we need to, oh, I actually fussy cut it, okay. So what I'm going to do is find the frame. So I've got a, I don't know if you can see this on the screen. I've got a divided tray here. And I am going to open the first package, and actually it looks like it's in this, the smaller one of the frames pack. So that might make it simpler for right now. I'll drop this in here. And it's very delicate vellum frame right there. That's the one we're going to be using. Okay, So what I'm going to do is just kind of cut around the frame loosely, and then I'll round the corners just to make it look a little more uniform. So, oh, scissors, where are my scissors? Oh, here they are, buried already, oh my goodness. Okay, so luckily there are grid lines, very easy to cut. So I have my frame here. I'm gonna go ahead and staple it so that it holds it together, and then I'm gonna trim around. Did the one corner, turn it, and the other corner. And I've got it bubbling just a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so for this part, I'm gonna trim off the excess. You can just cut this and round it, or you can use your corner rounder. Right now, I'm just gonna cut it to match that frame, the little curve on it. All the way around, okay. So we have our frame ready to go. We have our smiley background and our striped piece. What we're missing now are all the other embellishments. Those are going to be in the ephemera pack, and it's going to be in the larger bag. I don't know if anyone's awake, so if you could just, I can see that Lori said hello, and I can see that Christy's on too. So if you're awake and just watching, that's fine. If you're actually making the cards, can you just let me know? Let me know if anybody's out there or if I'm all by my lonesome tonight. So for the pieces, I need all the smiley faces. So I've got a blue, got like a yellow here. I'm just gonna kind of thumb through them. Okay, good. Good, okay, thank you. I just didn't see anybody, I'm sorry, and I had to disconnect everybody later. We've had some choice words with Facebook the last 2 days, but it's okay. We're crafters, we're creative, we adapt. And we're all here together now. So I apologize if I seemed like I disconnected everybody earlier. Okay, so I found 3 smiley, oh, here's the 4th. 4 smileys, and the reason I have 4 is because one is on the inside. You can see it on the inside of my card as an accent. Okay, and then I believe our sentiments, I think they're gonna be in this bottom package. Let me thumb through the frames that we opened really quick. Oh wait, maybe they're in the one we've already opened. Oh yes. So it is the Celebrate little flag, and then this one, which is kind of the light blue grid with the pink at the end, and we're gonna layer those two. This would be a great place to add a little ribbon. Okay, I am going to ink my pieces. We know that I'm an inker, so I'm using a blue tonight, but you could use black, brown. Really, this collection has every color, so you can't go wrong. Okay, I'm gonna get all my background piece done. I am gonna ink the frame just a little bit. Okay, and then I will ink the die cut pieces. Probably not the Celebrate banner. I think it would just rub right off. These remind me of, is it Joe Boxer that has all the smiley faces? I mean, I know smiley faces are everywhere now because of emojis, but that's what I immediately thought of when I saw these. And they're just they're just happy. They're cute. Some of the pieces in this collection, it's just a kind of a hodgepodge of different animals and kind of silly. All right. So we have our pieces here. We're ready to assemble this card. So I'm putting the smiley face paper on flat. Late dinner, yes, I see that. Okay, Tisha, thank you, and Shannon, awesome. Well, I can't even imagine how tired everyone is feeling, because I am feeling it tonight. It is, I mean, it's a great exhaustion, but it is exhaustion nonetheless. So it probably didn't help that I had to shovel this morning. That's what I said for tomorrow. Well, if I don't have to shovel in the morning, I can get a little bit of extra sleep. Okay, so I just put our background piece on and then that striped strip. All flat. I'm going to do my frame flat on the card. And then on the inside, I did this sort of, it's almost brown. I think it's supposed to be orange. I put that one flat on the inside. Okay, now for my other pieces, I'm going to pop these up. It is a really cute collection. And I don't know if you saw Andrea's Instagram, I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before, but she's going to be sharing some other things from this collection in March on the Scrapbook and Cards Today blog. So hopefully I will remember and post it in our group so that you can see it. But yeah, I love this collection. And it's not associated, I don't think it's, I mean, it's not like Paige, it's not Vicky, it's not Pebbles, it's just like an American Crafts collection. And it's just perfect. Okay, so we've got our smileys on there. And then for my last, I was gonna check my ribbon. The downside is that that hole is small. I really like the yellow though. Let's see if we can make this work. So I'm gonna go ahead and staple it only because that will hold it together. And then let me see if I can thread this through there. Really a twine might have been better for this, but I think I can make it work. Yeah, that's pretty. I love polka dots. Okay, and then I'm just gonna do a knot. And then I'll trim up the ends a little bit. If I can get my fingers to work at this point. Okay, I'll do it one more time to make sure it's secure on there. I don't want it coming off. Only special people get the handmade cards, right? Like, I feel like we put so much love and effort into them, and some people don't appreciate it. Like, if they're not crafters, or, you know, they just don't understand how much time and love went into it. Okay, and then I'm going to just trim these off a little bit here and here. Yeah, and then I'm gonna add my foam squares, and we have just made card number 1. Okay, there we go. Everybody with me? Nice and happy. Let me find our next card. Oh, I like that idea, Caitlin. Use the brads. Gold would look really nice too. A gold, like a metallic to put through there, the brad. I like that. So for this next one, I did use the circle punch, and I believe I underlined it. Yes. So the 2.5-inch circle punch for the grid paper, if you don't have that, it's not a big deal because we can just kind of cut around again for this frame. It doesn't have to be perfect. For the woohoo, if you don't have the circle punch, then you can either pick a different sentiment that you like, or I don't know how it would look square. I actually don't think it would look right because I think it needs I wanted to use the rule of 3 and have the 3 circles. So I think you would need to find another piece that you felt fit there. Okay, so let me grab my punches. They're right behind me. So I've got my 2.5, and then I need 1 3/4. A lot of my punches are missing right now. Not missing, I know where they are, but several of my friends who are teachers, they all needed my heart punches and circle punches, everything for Valentine's to make with their classes. So I'm kind of a lone library, you know, that they're like, Lindsay, do you have this and this? And sadly, I usually do, right? I have quite the collection here. Okay, so I've got my 2 circle punches, and then we are going to get our paper pad. We already have the grid paper. We already have the stripe paper. So what we need is this beautiful polka dot. All right, so I'm going to tear this off. And then the card that we'll be using for this one is the Slimline, and it's the one with the swimming pool blue envelope. Okay, and I chose for mine, I chose for it to go this way. I'm just going to tuck the envelope aside for right now. And then this one, I did not do anything on the inside, so it's kind of a blank slate. You can decide if you want to add something. I'm going to move this out of the way because we have that one done. Move this up here. Okay. So let's get our papers cut, and then we will find all of the pieces. Oh, hold on. One other piece. I forgot there should be a piece with 2x2, no, 2x2-ish squares. Right here, that's where you find the woohoo. If you don't like that, you can, there are plenty of other sentiments here. And that's what we'll be using with the circle punch. Okay, back to our cutting. So we have our blue dot paper, and it is going to be 6 by 3 1/8. This paper pad is 6 by 8. So anytime we have a 6-inch measurement, we don't have to cut. I'm actually going to turn it this way though, because I don't like this jagged edge from where we've torn that off. So I'm going to turn it so I have the smoother edge. I've already got my 6. Now I just turn it to the 3 1/8. Set that aside, and then I have that for my card right there. I prefer, and this is totally your call, but I prefer seeing the white border around it. It's what I like. I just like having that accent around it. Some people take their cards all the way to the edge. Now, because we're using a 6 by 8 paper pad, you can't go any further in this direction, so it actually worked out perfectly for this. Okay, same thing with the striped strip. We're going to need 6 inches, which we already have, across, and then we're going to turn and cut it to 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so we have that here, ready to go. And then the other 2 pieces are for our circle punches. I'm going to line it up. I'm going to kind of chop the exclamation point off on my woohoo. Okay, so I've got that one. And then I will use my circle punch for this one. Again, if you don't have the circle punch, you could easily lay the frame on top of it and trace it. Okay. Now we have to go hunting for some pieces again. I have my nice divided tray here, which actually they sell these at Michael's now. This is probably from the Container Store. It's iDesign. I'm a container hoarder. It's not good, but I love clear containers especially. But yeah, I was in Michael's and they had it, and they even had it on sale this past week. I was like, wow, that's way cheaper than Container Store or wherever else you would find it. I also like the home edit bins, and you can get those at Walmart, and oh, I'm addicted. It's not good. It's good to be organized, but it's just not good for the amount of containers that I end up with. Okay, so I am looking for, not that cupcake, but I'm looking for the cupcake and the hat. We'll use this later. I absolutely love that piece. I love it when they have those at weddings. Okay, come on. Okay, so I found a hat, not the right hat. The hat is black with pink polka dots. Nope, I found a cupcake. And another cupcake. Wow, where's my hat? I don't think it was in this one. Maybe it's a... Oh wait, is that? Nope, that's the owl with the hat. There it is. Okay, so I've got the cupcakes, the hat. Now I need to find this scallop circle and the round frame. And they are actually both in that original package we opened. So we've got this one right here, the floral frame, and then we've got the scallop circle. This would also be another place if you wanted to add ribbon, but I'm actually gonna hide the hole. I think that this card has a lot going on, and so I'm just gonna leave it as is, but you are more than welcome to add a little bit to it. Move all my pieces here off my trimmer. I'm going to ink. Okay, so UPS man did not come today, but my FedEx guy came, and he brought the 2024 collection of Quick Quotes inks. So we will have those in the sale tomorrow. And I believe it was Denise, I think it was Denise, who had asked a long time ago if Quick Quotes was making the black holder anymore that for their inks. And Breezy, who is my main lady who helps me out, she's amazing. She said that they are trying to get it back in stock in March. It did not come with this shipment, but she would let me know. So that is an update on that container. It's a great one to travel with. I'm not inking this because it's slick and I think it would rub off. And this one is also slick. So I'm gonna leave both of those as is. So tomorrow we will add that to our sale. And then, I don't know what we have, photo play and a couple other things. So, and my, I was joking that I stalk my UPS man, my FedEx. They are amazing. I seriously have like the best delivery people, especially because we've had so many construction vehicles. And all of my stuff is really heavy. I mean, sometimes I get pallets, sometimes, boxes of paper, all of that. And I always have treats by the door for them, and they're just the best. And so far they've always all been male. That's why I said man. I haven't had any women delivery drivers, maybe an Amazon one here and there, but not for FedEx or UPS. Okay, I'm going to add some foam squares. I actually doubled up, I don't know if you can see it, I did the foam square on the pink scallop and a foam square on the hat. And then use the smaller ones. And I'm putting them at the top of the cupcakes just to kind of pop them on the page, off the page. And the same thing with the hat. I'm putting it at the top of the hat, and then I'll put regular adhesive down here, and you'll see why in just a minute. And then our circle, I will put a couple of foam squares on that. Okay. And then I'm going to end up attaching this. I think I'm going to use my liquid adhesive for this. Now I need my darn pin. I don't know where I put it. My, you know, to open it up. So I'm using Nuvo glue. That might have done it. I'm using Nuvo glue, which I love. It's one of my favorites. And when I was at the, no, didn't go all the way through. When I was at the Paige Evans event and I was the pop-up store there, I completely sold out. I mean, I sold out fast, and this happened last year too. But the problem is I can't restock until spring because they won't ship it in the winter because it can freeze. And I guess that's been a major problem. And so they've just decided that they're not going to deal with that. All right, let me use my tweezers here. Let's see if I can get it opened up. No, it is like really, really stuck. All right, let me find my push pin. It's gotta be, or my straight pin. Okay, all better. Sorry about that. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of liquid adhesive around the edge, not a ton. I used to say to my little kiddos, a dot is a lot. And then I can put this grid paper right there in that frame. Okay. I agree, it does. And I usually have the little straight pin sitting here, but last weekend we had a dance competition, and so I was crafting in the hotel room, and I don't have everything unpacked. Shocking. Do you do that? Go to a crop and then not get things unpacked right away? I had the essentials unpacked, but not my huge tool bag, and that's what I needed to find that pin because I had it last weekend. Okay, so these are popped up. I'm going to turn this and tuck it there, okay? So we've got our 3 circles. And then for my cupcakes, I'm using regular adhesive at the bottom and then the foam square at the top to kind of lift it off the page. And then I did the same thing for the hat, and that's because the hat is already going to be up a little bit on that level. We're just making lots of stair step levels here with our card. And so I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. Card number 2. Everybody got it? We're doing good? All right, so card number 3. Let me find it. Card number 3 says celebrate. And I made this one with a little pocket inside so that you could put a gift card or just use the little, tags or ephemera to put in there. But it's nice. We do gift cards so much now. And I just feel like even Noelle's age at 9, like her friends would rather shop. So it's just nice to have that little pocket there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move these out of the way. We've got it. And then you're going to need your corner rounder for this one. That might be it for extra tools. Move my adhesive out of the way. Okay, so let's start with our paper pad. And we need to find that balloon paper. I did not use this paper. I tried, and then I'm usually not paralyzed by a pattern, but it was just so shiny. But it would be so nice on a layout, like behind, you know, like behind a big photo or, yeah, anyway, it's beautiful. Okay, so here are those balloons. It's another one we're gonna have to watch the direction of things. Okay, and then we need the paper that has like the streamers. There it is, last page. Okay, because this will back our frame. And then the inside of the card is this same balloon pattern. So we will cut that. We'll cut both of those. Oh yes, yeah, it could be a great wedding or anniversary card, I agree. I agree. So our school is actually doing Teacher Appreciation Week this week. And it always catches me off guard because I'm so programmed for it to be in May. But the PTO decided a year or two ago that May is just crazy, which it is. So that they changed the week, and ironically it's Valentine's Day. So I was checking my email last night and all the reminders that came home, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's Teacher Appreciation Week this week at our school. So this might end up being a teacher card for one of Noelle's teachers. Okay, so the card we are using is the square card with the pink envelope, and we are opening it vertically. Okay, tuck away the envelope. All right, so we are going to cut this first piece to 4.5 by 4.5, so a square. This is the one that if you want to round the corners, this is the piece that I did it. And the reason I did it was to mimic the frame, which is already rounded. I'll do that in just a minute. We need our other piece that will be our inside pocket. And that one is going to be 4 3/4 by 1.5. I'm gonna cut the 1.5 first, because that's how high we want our pocket to be. And then I will turn it and do the 4 3/4. Okay, so that'll be our inside piece. And then we have this piece with the streamers and confetti. This one is going to be 2 3/4 across by 3.5 up and down. I'm avoiding this edge again. So I'm gonna start and do my 3.5 high. There we go. So we got the 3.5, and then I'm turning it to the 2 3/4, and that will make it fit right there behind that frame. Okay, we need to find our pieces for this, and then we will ink and round the corners. Okay, balloons, that was easy. That one jumped right out. I can already, well, nope, that's not the frame. Okay, so we need the word celebrate. Oh, 2 for 2. The pieces know how tired my eyes are at this point. Okay, and then for our frame, I haven't opened this package yet. You might have already dumped all of yours out. It's gonna be in this larger one. Let me get it opened up and put it in my third compartment here. And you will notice that the frame has the hip hip hooray on the bottom. If you like that, then you can leave it like that. I was just going for a celebrate theme for all of my cards, and so I ended up covering the sentiment. Look at this one there, the happy anniversary. You could do the same idea with that frame. Okay, so let's get these pieces ready to go. So if I have not met you before, I kind of explained, a little bit about my family last night. I was born and raised in the Midwest in Illinois, in central Illinois, in a very small town right outside of Springfield. And I lived there my whole life, basically, and then, through college. And then I met my husband. We went to the University of Illinois and met there. And then after that, we lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania for 3 years. Then we moved back to the Chicago suburbs and we lived in Aurora, Illinois. And then we built a house in Plainfield. And then shortly after Noelle was born, my youngest, we ended up moving to Colorado, Fort Collins, Colorado. And so we have been here now 9 years. And it took me a while to adjust. I say that I'm a Midwest girl at heart, and I am. My family is still, my parents are still in Illinois. I love to go back. I still have a great group of women that I scrapbook with and keep in touch with pretty much daily. But our home is here now. I started scrapbooking, oh my goodness, I don't even know. I think what I said in the Facebook post was long before there was product. But I started doing it as a business probably before Lauren was born, and Lauren is 16 now. And I just kind of dabbled in different things. I worked for a company called Glue Arts, and I was on their design team, and I went to CHA and did their make and takes. And that was kind of in the heyday when it was really, big with Becky Higgins and Lisa Burnson and Heidi Swap and all of that. So I had a blast. It was a wonderful opportunity, and I learned a lot. Okay, so for this one, to interrupt really quick, I'm gonna glue the frame on, and then I'm going to just trim this off. Just with my scissors. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're not going to see it, okay? So I'll put a little bit of adhesive. I could do the liquid, but I'm just gonna do it this way and fold it back and put my frame here. And I left this loose so that I can pull it back a little bit, and then I'm just going to cut under this hip hip hooray and just cut it off there. Just kind of a random piece that I eyeballed, and you'll never know, okay? So I was lucky to work with Glue Arts for quite a while. And then after Maddie was born, Maddie was born in 2010, and at that point, things in the industry really started to change. And part of it was due to social media. I mean, that's when a lot of our favorite magazines disappeared. That's when people stopped going to CHA or Creativation as we now know it, because everything was instant. You could see everything online on Facebook immediately. So why would you pay all this money to go to a trade show? Or why would you wait and read a magazine? Well, I'm old school. I would much rather have a paper magazine in my hand than digital. I'm that way with books too. But it was just kind of a time where everything changed. So after Maddie was born, I stumbled across this great company called MemoryWorks. It's similar to a Close to My Heart or a Creative Memories, and the great thing about it was they sold name brand products. Well, come to find out, MemoryWorks was actually founded by Simple Stories. That was Amber's idea. That's what she started with. I was one of their top sellers, and I would buy a lot of their product and I would make kits out of it, and I would have women come over to my house one Friday night a month and put together the layouts. And I use the hostess credit for their prizes, store prizes, or for any events that I went to. Okay, so on this inside of the card, we've done this weekend already, but this is a pocket, so do not put adhesive at the top because we want to be able to slip a gift card in. So I'm going to put adhesive on the sides and the very bottom. Okay, and then you can tuck the tags in. I did it more just so as a visual for you to see it, because more than likely this would be used for a gift card. You could always use a stronger adhesive. I feel like this is okay. Okay, so that is card number 3. I'm grabbing my water. I call this my Doodlebug cup. It's not Doodlebug, but it reminds me of the Seaside Summer paper. All right, I'm gonna move this aside. So we've got 3 done, 3 to go. And if you're following on your instructions, we're flipping it over to the back page. And this time it's going to be the green card, and it's a white envelope. Okay, so we are going to need the blue floral paper and the grid paper, which we've been kind of slowly chipping away at. So here's my grid paper. And the blue floral, which I think is my favorite paper in the whole collection. So pretty. Okay, we're gonna use this actually on 2 cards in a row. So let's get this cut. So for the blue floral, making sure I don't think direction matters. No, it's okay. So you can really cut it either way. Okay, so we need our blue floral to be 3 7/8 by 5 1/4 up and down, okay? For our next card, we're going to also use it, and it's going to be 4 1/2 by 3. So we just need to be careful how we cut this one so that we have plenty for the next card. So I'm going to do the 3 7/8 first. I'm staying away from that edge. So 3 7/8, right? I am right there with you. We need to have a whole conversation about Doodlebug and being able to go back there again someday, because it's amazing. But maybe we'll chat about that tomorrow. 3 7/8, and then I'm going to turn it and do 5 1/4. Okay, so I did 3 7/8 and 5 1/4, and then I still have this piece left for our next card. Okay, now for that grid paper, we need 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I don't think we need this anymore. I think we've used it, for all 3 cards now, so it's okay. I'm gonna go from this end and do the 2 3/4, and then turn it and do the 3 3/4. And then it will fit behind our pink frame. Okay, so let's find some pieces. We've got a pink frame here. Then we have this let's celebrate you today. And then I've got flowers and a butterfly. Pink flower, orangey yellow, and butterfly. All 3, did I put anything inside? Nope. Okay. All right. I did round the corners on the blue floral so that it would match the frame. Personal preference. It was just a detail that I liked. So after I did MemoryWorks for a while, they announced that they were closing. And the reason that they were closing is because Simple Stories had started to take off, because people were loving the cut apart cards. And they were really the ones that came out with all the different sizes. And I just remember walking into Archivers and seeing that display up front. It was, I think it was Yearography, and then they had the school one. Anyway, so after that, I was running crops at my church, and I was designing page kits there that were just like their free gift as they came in the door. They got to pick which kit they wanted. And more people were asking me for page kits. And this kind of overlaps the MemoryWorks time too. And I was just seeing like how valuable they were, especially to moms who were trying to get a lot of pages done. And it was something that, I don't know, just visually, it was very easy for me to look at a paper and visualize the 2-page layout. So Lindsay's layouts kind of took off from there. When we moved to Colorado, I designed for several different local scrapbook stores here and helped run events, and I helped at the Scrapbook Expo and taught at another huge crop here, just trying different things. And then I decided to strike out on my own, which was very scary. Got my LLC and just, started my Etsy page, got my website up and running. So it's been like a very, I don't know, fast but slow process, if that's possible. I feel like I'm not a good person. I'm not good at asking for help. So it took me a while to even hire Natalie, and I was so blessed by her help. And I even told her when I hired her, I said, I have trust issues. I'll probably never let you cut paper. And I'm so lucky that I have friends like Gail. I have many other friends, Irene and Tracy and Tisha and Janet, all these other ladies that I rely on heavily for business advice. I like to run ideas by them. And then I'm really here doing this and making it work and loving it because of my family, because my husband is supportive. My kids are kind of supportive. They're not, none of them, Noelle is crafty. None of them want a scrapbook. They think what I do is silly. All of their friends love it. Lauren's friends who are 16, they want to work for me. Maddie's friends, they're like, I want to be down in your mom's place. Like, they all think it's cool, but my own children are like, no, this isn't great. Okay, I've got card number 4 done. Let me know while I'm babbling here. Let me know if you're keeping up. We're getting ready to do card number 5 with these silly dogs on it. See, in this one, there's really not room for ribbon. I guess you could have maybe tied ribbon on the frame, but there's really not. This one's pretty busy to be able to add anything to it. Okay, so I'm gonna go on to card number 5. So card number 5 is a white base, again with this beautiful coral envelope. And for this one, let me find my sample. And it opens this way. Okay, so we will find our paper. That blue paper you should have set aside. And then the other floral is still in our paper pad. There it is. Okay, and then making sure, I confused myself because I saw this celebrate tag, but that is not the tag that I used the smaller one on here. So you'll still have these extra tags that you can use for cards or projects also. These are great to tie on a gift. All right, so let's get these cut. So the pink floral paper is going to be 6, which is already our width, by 4 1/4. And I'm just gonna do it this way because this is the smooth edge. So cut it once at 4 1/4. So that piece right here. And then our floral has to be 4 1/2 by 3. Let me see. Okay. So I'm gonna turn it this way to cut the 4 1/2. And then turn it this direction to cut the 3. Otherwise, I would not have had enough paper. If you cut it wrong, it's okay. You have plenty of extra paper that you could put in there. Okay, so that's going to be the blue floral for inside the frame. And let's find our pieces. All right, so I need dogs and a cat. And there's one. Here's that pink poodle. And the cat. And the cat is for inside the card. I'm gonna move over to this bigger package. I actually used, I believe it's the floral frame. Maybe it's the striped. Yep, and I just flipped it upside down because it was too busy. So I flipped it this way so we have the white. And then I need to find, this tag is on the inside. Oh, I missed that word. And then we need this celebrate. There it is. The celebrate tag. And then the word yay. Let's see, is it in? Yes, it's in right there. There it is. Okay, so we have all our pieces. I'm going to ink this and then start adhering. I will definitely add some ribbon to the hole on the tag right here. My ink pad is starting to disintegrate a little bit. That happens. Okay, and then for my frame, yep, I'm gonna give it a little bit of ink just to help with that stark white. This is the lazy way of doing it. I could have used liquid or even my really skinny score tape, but I'm just folding the adhesive back. So I have it on either side of the frame, and then I can attach it to that blue paper. Okay, and then I can add adhesive to the whole thing. Make sure it's not peeking out. Yep, it is peeking out the top a little bit. Good thing that adhesive is a little bit forgiving because I just adhered it down to my cutting mat. Pulling it back. Okay. There we go. It works and no one will ever know the difference. A little bit poking through right there. Okay, next I am ready for our doggies, and I did pop those up. Okay, we put our pink poodle here. Every animal in this collection has glasses on, I think, except the cat. It's just kind of a silly collection, all the different pieces, and it's very eclectic. Okay, and then put a little ink around the tag. Let me grab my ribbon here. I am going to do this gold. And I'm gonna knot it again. I might have cut it too short. But we gave you plenty of ribbon. I hate that when you have a piece that's just too small. It drives me crazy. So we tried to give everybody, I think, a yard of each. Okay, and then I will add my foam squares onto that. Dropping things left and right here. Okay. So there we have it. Then for the inside of the card, I'm going to add my tag as an accent and then add the cat and the yay word. Kind of eyeball it. I don't know about you, but my my neck and my back are feeling it today from standing and bending over a project all weekend. I put on, I don't know if you like essential oils, but I have one that I rolled on my neck. Just before I did this, it helped. But this one, my friend Tracy Cannon would always bring this to, I can't remember which event it was, and it's like it kind of wakes you up and it helps. So I've put that on the back of my neck while I'm hunched over here. Okay, so we've got our cat on the inside and our dogs on the outside, and there we go, card number 5. And we're on to the last one. Thank you, Irene. Okay, our last card is one that opens up. We've got the three panels. So we have this card that says celebrate. And so this part is popped up, then the inside, this is flat. And then on this side, I was able to pop up pieces again. That way it could still go in the envelope and not be super chunky. It might be a little overweight. So I would check that one, but it closes nicely, okay? So we are going to start with, my ribbon is attacking me here. We are gonna start with our striped paper and this paper with the champagne. Okay, so I've got my striped piece from earlier. I get my paper pad. There it is. Okay, and then on the inside, I use the stripe again. And then back here, again, stripe. We're also going to need this card that says time to party. It's the only card that we used out of this, so if you wanted to switch it to a different card, otherwise you've got these as extras. Okay. I'm going to cut this card first just because it's a basic 3x4. So we have our time to party card. Now we're going to do the stripe. We need the stripe in 3 different places, but all of the measurements across are all 6 inches. So we're just going to turn it and make the cuts. Now, I told you that's, you know, that's as far as it can go. It's a 6-inch paper pad. It works great here. Here, it's a bit smaller. I can see the edge, but I like it like that because then it's not sticking out. It's kind of a surprise that there's something on the inside. And then back here, what we're going to do is split it in the middle and hide that gap with this card. And that way it reaches either end. Okay, so let me make sure yeah, that's my 6-inch side. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 1/4, 2 1/4, and the 3/4. I'm gonna cut the 3/4 one off first, just because the smaller ones get harder as the paper gets smaller. Okay, now I've got 2 1/4 that will go right there, and then 2 1/4 for the inside. And then I'm going to cut it one more time. We just want to be able to hide it behind this card. So kind of, you know, maybe a little above the middle. So then we've got those 2 pieces. Okay, now for our champagne piece. Again, we have the 6 inches, sorry, this one is vertical. So we want to make sure our pattern's going the right way. So we do have to cut this because we want the 6 inches this way so it looks right with our glasses being poured. Okay, so we're going to cut the 1 3/4. Then I'm going to turn it and cut the 6 inches. That way I have my pattern. Okay, now we just need to find our pieces. So I'm looking for Celebrate, that bottle of champagne. There's another bottle that says Today is Your Day. So I have both of those. We need the flowers and then the cups. Okay. So I did find a flower already. Let me sort through these. This little purple flower that says yay, we need that one. Here's the tower, the goblet tower. So I've got those 2. Let me make sure I've got the inside ones. And I just need those, there it is, those glasses. Okay. Ink and adhere, and then we are done. And you will have plenty of paper and product to make more. I will have a few more of the Doodlebug card sets in our sale tomorrow. We just ended up with a lot in our sale today, and so I'm just gonna bump that to tomorrow. Get room on my grid here. Lay the stripe down first. Ink the champagne bottle and glasses. And there we go. We have our panel right there. The tower and the bottle both use foam adhesive. So let me do that. I don't mind that this hangs over here. I guess if it bothers you, pull it back more. But to me, it didn't bother me. Okay. Put it right there. And then I'm gonna put the dots over, the squares over to this side. That way it doesn't stick up quite as much, but it's still popped up. Okay, so we have our celebrate. We're gonna go to the inner panel. That's where we need this strip, and you'll just wanna kind of center it. You're going to have a little gap of pink at the top and a little bit at the bottom. I'm gonna open it like this so you can see mine a little easier. Okay, so I've left just a tiny bit there, and that way when you're closing your card, it looks like it's a surprise. You don't have anything on the inside until you open it up. These are all flat, the elements. So I'll do the flower pot first. It's all about layering and threes, right? Odd numbers are very pleasing to the eye. I'm gonna add this flower. Okay. Then for our inside, this is where we're going to fake it and piece it together. Ink my time to party. Okay. And for this, I just centered it. Okay. Then we're going to add an accent card, and I moved it a little more to the top because otherwise the flowers coming from the glasses cover it up. So I moved it up here, and then these do use foam squares. Okay, there you have it. 6 cards, materials to make plenty more. You just need some actual card bases, but there you have it. I tried to keep it nice and simple because it's the end of day 2 and I knew we would all be tired and you have done a lot of work. 2 mini albums, layouts, cards now, the die cut, some of you have done the challenge. I mean, a lot is going on. I see a lot of you at crops and retreats, so I'm sure you're doing other stuff too. So I always stop and ask myself though, why is sitting all weekend so draining? It really is. And I'm not sure, I'm just not sure what it is about it. Maybe the creativity is draining and how we're hunched and sitting here. I agree, cards are very fun. So it is 7:20. We have an hour and 10 minutes until bingo. I am just going to talk you through layout number 2 because I really want to finish it and it will go together very quickly. If you are too tired to put yours together, then at least you can watch or come back to this later, but that way it is in a video so that you can see how I assemble it, okay? So I'm gonna put my cards away for right now. Shift gears, grab a drink of water. We already have everything cut. It's really just a matter of gluing it down and then adding the embellishments, okay? All of the photo mats are the same size. They're all 3x4, so that simplifies things also. So I have, I believe, 8 photos total. Yeah, 8. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut these photo mats so that I have those ready for my layout and I can get those inked. And then I will cut the product strip off and then I can put my trimmer away and have plenty of room on my workspace. So I'm just making the 3x4 photo mats. You do have this cardstock. If you don't like photo mats and you don't think, if you're going to print your photos with white borders, or if you just don't like it, that's okay. For me, it's a good placeholder, and it's also much easier for me to demonstrate teaching and show you the photos. Okay, so I've got all my mats cut here. Still got my Post-it. And then I am going to just cut off those product strips. This is the flea market paper with that amazing grid. Okay, strips are gone. I'm gonna get my trimmer out of here so that we can build this layout. We're gonna build the left page first. If you still have your corner rounder handy from our card making, I am just going to round 2 of the corners here because then it looks more realistic like a notebook. So I just did these 2. I'm gonna leave the spiral, leave those flat, or straight, I mean. And then I'm getting organized here. We're going to need this smaller, it looks almost like a 3x4. I think it's a little smaller than that. We're gonna need that smaller pink thumbtack piece. We're going to need the smaller notebook piece, and I'm putting it with the brown lines out to the left. And then we're going to need the paper clip piece, which is also the smaller one. I'm gonna adhere these first, so then I know that I have plenty of room for my impact piece, which is my title and my main photo. But I want to get these rounded. Okay, and then I'm going to ink. Switch back to the brown ink. Okay, so I have that part done. I'm going to ink three photo mats. One, two, and three. Okay, and then I'm gonna ink these other pieces just so we can keep adhering, get this glued down. So here's my giant title piece, my 6x8 piece with the thumbtacks. And then I need the pencils accent card, which is this one where we're gonna cover up the words. Okay, I did not ink the actual pencils that we fussy cut. You could if you wanted to, but I didn't. Okay, all right, so we have all of our pieces prepped, ready to go. Let's glue this puppy down. All right, so looks like I went down on this one almost like a half, a 3, and then a half to go down on. That's the other nice thing about a grid paper is it helps you line things up, especially when your eyes are tired and your brain is tired. Okay, so we've got the notebook strip going, and then we have our yellow golden paperclip paper. And then my photo mats are going to extend off of this paper slightly. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a margin here and then a little bit of a margin in between the two photos. Okay, now I have plenty of room so I can lay down my title and big piece and not have to worry about ripping things back up. Okay, so we're gonna kind of get an idea here, lay this out. I'm gonna go ahead and adhere my photo mat, because then it's easier to figure out where it's going to go. We definitely want some pink showing, but we want those pencils to fit. Okay, looks good. I did pop the pencils up, but yet tucked the edge under. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the foam squares on those. Looks so funny on the back of pointy florals. Oh, I don't know why I peeled that. I need to stick this down first. Don't sneeze. Okay, so I'm gonna stick my notebook on my pink paper first. And glue the whole thing down. Not quite sticking it in place yet. So I'm trying to make sure those pencils, there we go. Okay. Then take our photo and card and lay it just like that. The photo mats are all 3x4. And then that way when I printed with the Project Life app, and I did 2 3x4 prints on one 4x6. I have an Epson PictureMate printer, and it's life-changing to be able to just print on demand what you need for a project. Okay, I'm gonna add our embellishments. Ooh, I don't know if I might have lost my enamel dots in the chaos of my table space right now, but There are enamel dots. They are the golden yellow ones that would go right here. Maybe they'll turn up as I do this. And then we have a couple pieces from the journal package. So let's do the stickers first, and then I will pull these two out. I can tell by feeling it. Okay. So we need the globe. That one's going to end up right here. Then we need the other notebook or planner. You could stick these flat on the page. I just like them with a little bit more dimension, some of the bigger pieces. The thumbtacks I'm going to put directly on the page. They're just so small. So I've got the red thumbtack and the green thumbtack from right here. Then we need a pink binder clip for our photo up here. And then we also need this sticker right here that says True Story. And it goes right here above our photo mat. This, let me slide it over just a tiny bit. Make sure you can see this. This, I layered a die cut with a sticker on top, so we'll do that in just a second. Okay, and then these three, this cluster down here, these are stickers. So I have the binder, or the albums maybe, with the florals. I'm sticking them all together like this first, and then the glasses. So I've got all three here. And then I'm gonna turn them over and put my foam squares on the back. And those are going to end up right down here. I'm going to adjust it just a little bit. I'm not going to peel, I need to put a second one on. I'm not going to peel the top one off because I want to be able to slip my photo there. But these I have peeled off, and I've got the glasses, the floral, and the binders. Maybe they're photo albums. Okay. In my Journal Bits package, I am looking for the Share Your Story. This stamp that says today. Here's Share Your Story. And then this floral. Just making sure that's the right stamp. Looks like it. Okay. These are all popped up, but that stamp that says today, I covered it up with a sticker. Yeah. Okay. So there we have the top embellished. And then this one, I need to find the sticker that says good stuff. It is right here in the second row. And I'm just going to cover up that word today. A lot of people use tweezers for their stickers, and it might be good in this situation, but it's okay. I just want to get it on there straight. Probably would have been easier to do that when it was flat. Okay, got it on. There's my stamp that says good stuff. And I'm going to really be careful with my adhesive there because I want to be able to fit a picture in. Okay, that one you might want to leave off. If you know your pictures are going to go slip here and here, you might want to just not adhere that one yet. Okay, so that's the left side. Now we are going to do the right side. You can see my glasses get bigger, 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 and then they go away. All right, now for the right side, we're going to start with our grid paper again. I'm going to cover this up for right now, and then I can kind of pull it back so that you can see, but I feel like if anybody's playing along, do you have the left side done? Let me know. All right, well then I see Janet. Yes, I'm getting thumbs up, okay. Okay, so I am going to set this aside because I think it's easier if you can see the completed one and what we're building at the same time. We're basically just completing the puzzle from the other side. We're going to use our pink thumbtack paper, our notebook strip, our paper clip paper, and then we will have our photo mats, 3x4, our 3x4 markers card, and then everything else that we add is a sticker or a journal piece. Okay, so I'm gonna round the corner on, this one gets hidden, but I feel better knowing that it's rounded, right? And then we've got the corner up here. I think it also gets hidden. It doesn't want to go in there, right? I might need to empty it. Sometimes it gets so full and then it can't cut through there correctly. Okay, I'm going to ink these. When we were eating dinner, my daughter Maddie texted and she's like, "Did you feed my pigs?" I'm like, no, I forgot. So I ran upstairs, made sure the guinea pigs had their dinner, their lettuce, and I've been in charge of feeding them and cleaning the cage and everything else while my family is kind of hiding out. They did come home for a little bit today. Noelle had forgotten her toothbrush and they needed some other things. So the main reason that they left is because we don't have extra space right now with renovations, but also because of the Wi-Fi. I think I mentioned that yesterday with having 3 girls plus my husband. Somebody's always on a device, I feel like, and especially with it snowing outside. They're all stuck inside, so I was worried about our internet connection. And then this morning, Noelle was trying to FaceTime one of her friends using my phone, and I was trying to be very calm, like, I am running an event. There is no FaceTime this weekend. You have to tell your friend to please wait. So, She's one of the few 9-year-olds at her school that does not have a phone, and we don't plan on getting her one anytime soon, so I'm perfectly okay with her using mine, you know, when she wants to interact with her friends, but not on a weekend where I'm trying to teach and run an event. I'm gonna slide this over for just a second to make sure that my seams line up when I adhere this. Okay, some people, sorry, I didn't see, some people said mostly, not quite yet. Okay. Here, let's slip this over. That way you can see both of them. And I'm just gonna keep adhering so that you can see where I'm at. I think I mentioned yesterday we have 2 guinea pigs. My poor husband is in a house with 4 humans, 2 female guinea pigs. He can't win. We got them, they are 2 years old. We just celebrated their 2nd birthday. We got them for my daughter's birthday, like a year and a half ago, from the Humane Society. They were sisters. We rescued them together because they can get very depressed if they're alone, or so we've read. And they live in Maddie's room, and it's been okay. Maddie's very allergic, so is my husband. That's why we don't have dogs or cats. But the guinea pigs have been okay for everyone. We joke that they live at the Ritz-Carlton because they have their cage, which is an amazing setup. I did so much research because of the allergies. And then they have a penthouse that's attached to the top of the cage because they fight and they need extra space. They live probably the best life you could ever imagine because they have hammocks, and pretty much from, well, here, their day starts at 7 a.m. 7 a.m. they get fed. If you're not in there at 7 a.m., they are squealing at you like crazy. After that, they know our routine and that I have 3 kids with 3 totally different start times. So they beg and act pathetic as each kid gets ready for school, and they end up getting so many treats before 9 a.m. And then the rest of the day, they lay in their hammocks. They each have one and pretty much do nothing. They just lay there, and they don't even get out to go to the bathroom. They just sort of scoot their little booties back and drop it outside the hammock. And that's their life. I'm kind of jealous some days. And then they know, like, when the kids start coming home at 3 o'clock, they come back to life. They kind of know that everybody's home. And then they get dinner at 5. And then in the evenings, we'll bring them in the family room, and they've got a blanket that they can play on, and, you know, or they watch TV with us. And again, never dreamed that I would be so attached to rodents, but they are very sweet. They know certain words. Ginger is the baby of the 2. Like, she communicates and lets us know when Cinnamon is mean to her. She, you know, lets us know when she wants food. They know the sound of the refrigerator, so then they're instantly crying. Yeah, and they've been very fun. It's been a really nice addition to our family. It's a little difficult when you want to travel because now they require a lot of care. I mean, they have to have fresh lettuce, you know, have the cage cleaned every single day, all of that. So we're always looking for good pet sitters. But yeah, we enjoy our time with them. And my youngest, Noelle, most of her school, like, papers and reports are all about guinea pigs now. She makes videos about them. She loves them. Okay, so all I've done is kind of set my background pieces and laid out my photo mats. I did put foam adhesive on the markers piece. And then I'm going to start hunting for my embellishments. And maybe I'll look for my enamel dots while I'm at it. So I have the pile here of my journal pieces. I'm going to look for this like Post-it notepad paper for the record. Okay, I found one. There's the little notebook paper and the Post-it. And then I believe everything else is sticker. That one isn't. You can just tell by feeling them. So this flower, the green flower we need, and then I believe the rest are stickers. So I'm gonna move this over. Okay, so down in the corner, I layered these two pieces. I'm only gonna put adhesive on this far right side because I wanna be able to tuck the photo under it. And then the for the record piece is popped up. Okay, and then I have two stickers that I added to make an odd number cluster of 5. So I've got a paper clip. That's not the right paper clip. I wonder if I used the other one. Anyway, paper clip right there, and blue thumbtack right here. Okay, then as we move up, we're going to have this green flower. And then the sticker that says note is right here. And I'm going to be very careful to not get that adhesive on my photo mats there. Same thing with the flower. I'm gonna kind of make sure the adhesive is in the middle gap between those two photo mats. Okay. Then we have just some pencil shavings and pencil sharpener here. Find those on the sticker sheet. So we've got pencil shavings popped up. And then the pencil sharpener is right next to it. I'm gonna pop that one up also. Okay. Then we have our documented sticker tab, which is right here, second row. That's gonna go above our photo. Okay. And then we have a file folder sticker. I'm going to tuck it underneath my photo mat right there. And then I'm going to add the pencils, which are kind of tricky to, I'm just going to put 2 foam squares in the middle and just hope that they don't sink too much on either side. Put my pencils here. And then last but not least, the tape dispenser, which is pretty in pink. And put that here. That made pretty in pink. That made me think we were telling Natalie earlier, I don't know what came up. It was something during Erica's class, and we started talking about 16 Candles, which is a movie that I watched in college so much, and Natalie's never seen it. And so we were telling her that she needs to watch it. It's such a good movie. If we weren't so tired, we would probably watch it tonight, but it's not happening. It's such a good movie. Okay. Other than my enamel dots, this layout is completely done. I'm gonna shift a couple things just to see. Oh, here they are, here they are, here they are. We're under my ribbon. Okay, so I did a set right here, a set of 3, small, medium, large, with the yellow right for the record. And then my other set I did up here, right above the little moments, big memories title. Okay, so there we have it. That is layout number 2, all done. Then you should have your remaining pieces so that you can make the bonus layout on your own. And you do have the picture in your little brochure, and there's also the instructions under the files tab. But here, I won't have to take it away if I open this up. So here's the layout we just finished. This is the layout with the typewriter. Very, very easy to put together. We have our pieces cut. It's just a lot of layering, and then the main thing you need to know is you have to trim your scallop sticker right here. Most of these are all stickers. That's a journal die cut. And then on this page, that's a journal die cut. That's a journal die cut. And then this one that says note is a journal die cut. And these others are stickers. And then I use the pink enamel dots right by the typewriter, and then again right here by the word note. Otherwise, it's very straightforward to put together. Make sure that your patterns line up here in the middle because we cut these into the 6x6 pieces. And yeah, you're good to go. Does anyone have any questions? Anything I can answer before I go set up some bingo? We've got I pulled out 2 more Cricut cuties. So we've got our cuties, we've got some more pins tonight, and I think we're ready to go. I need to go to either Walgreens or Walmart and find those Friends conversation hearts that I saw that maybe it was it Jess that had them last night? Anyway, my daughter would love those. Okay, it's quiet, so I'm gonna assume no one is panicking, everyone's doing okay. I am going to sign off for now. If you have any questions, you can always add them to this live feed, or you can message me. I'm glad that we were able to finish this. I'm glad we were able to do the cards. And now make yourself a drink maybe, or have some tea. You've got a little bit of time before we do, let me just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 8:30. Yep. So we will do bingo at 8:30, and I will see you back live then. And you can also keep working on your challenge because it's due by midnight tonight, midnight Mountain Time, in the Facebook group. Okay? All right. Yay. Okay. Thanks, Caitlin. All right. I will see everyone soon.